Our tastes in film may seem destructive, but this is a productive dialogue. Damn it, your mother ate my dog.
Episode 50 of the podcast. Josh, Jesse, movies, podcast, dogs.
Dogs. There's dogs there. I got to say, you're looking very good today.
Oh, I see what you're doing. We never announced that we were going to do a live episode, so.
Oh, we didn't say that in the episode?
No, we did not.
Oh. Well, I mean, okay. I'll give up this whole ruse then, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, doing a live episode for 50 would have been fun, but there's always 51 or 5 or whatever. It doesn't matter. 50. The only thing special about 50 is that we get our 50th cat scratch.
Right on cue.
Well, 49th, I guess, because there was one episode that didn't happen.
Right.
Episode 50 is pretty iconic in anything.
Yeah, it's a milestone.
So with episode 50, I looked up other big properties, big shows, and what their 50th episode was, just to see it's like what we have to kind of build into.
Right.
The expectations are so high for 50, and here's why. So episode 50 on the TV show Friends.
Yeah.
It's the second episode of the third season. The plot centers on Ross's anxieties. His friends take too long getting ready for a function that evening.
Oh, and Joey puts, you're gonna hide my underwear. I'm wearing everything you own.
Yep, iconic episode.
Yeah, that is
episode
iconic.
50. Friends. Then we have episode 50 of Seinfeld. I don't know if you watched much Seinfeld.
I watched a good amount.
This episode deals with Jerry's current relationship and how it runs into trouble after his girlfriend confides in him that she is a virgin. So Jerry and George struggle to come up with episode ideas for the Jerry show in the last few days regarding the virgin. I don't know. I have all the episodes of Seinfeld on DVD, but I haven't watched much of it.
Yeah, you have like this big collector's edition thing.
Yeah, who plays the virgin? I feel like it's somebody important.
Probably. I haven't seen the episode, I must admit.
Okay, episode 50 of The Simpsons. You watch much of The Simpsons?
I watched a lot of probably the first 6 or 7 seasons.
Okay, so the 50th episode takes place on February 6th, 1992, season 3. It's the one where stress from household chores and her family's demands cause Marge to suffer a nervous breakdown. So she leaves to go to a spa, leaving Bart and Lisa with Patty and Selma. Maggie stays at home with Homer, but leaves looking for her mother, causing Homer to frantically search for her.
I remember that episode.
Homer Alone, iconic episode 50. And then Game of Thrones, episode 50, the 5th season finale. Stannis attacks Winterfell. Stannis is defeated and dies. Cersei has her Walk of Atonement in King's Landing.
Oh.
So that's also pretty iconic.
Action-filled.
Yeah, good episode. So yeah, we have a lot to kind of, live up to.
Yeah, and lots to look forward to as well.
Nobody remembers what episode 51 is.
No, that's true. We could totally screw up at 51 and it wouldn't be a problem. I got to say, when starting this project, how you decide you're going to start something new and it lasts 2 weeks and it's and then never happens again. We've been doing this for over a year. I'm pretty proud of us.
Yeah, it's been 14 months.
That's crazy.
Almost to the day. So a
Good
lot
for
has
us.
happened in our lives.
Totally. Lots and lots of stuff. Hey, are you on Twitter much lately?
I look at Twitter. I don't do anything on Twitter.
Did you see my most recent tweet?
I can't say I have.
Okay. Do you watch any Twitch? You watch anybody on Twitch?
Not too much anymore, but I have in the past.
Okay. Do you know who Northern Lion is?
Okay, so that's funny that you say it. I don't watch Northern Lion on Twitch. I watch
On YouTube.
him on YouTube, like religiously his Hitman videos. That's all I
Mhm.
watch, basically on YouTube. So, yes,
Okay. Mackenzie and I, we like his Sporkle and the times he's played Dark Souls. It's probably our favorite.
sure. Lovely Vancouver resident, Northern Lion.
Yes. Well, this weekend I was in Vancouver for something concerning my Samoa trip and outrigger and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, like you've added that to your Twitter bio.
I have. And I was roaming around Vancouver by myself because I went walk on with one fellow paddler, but he's on a different in a different age category, so his schedule was different than mine. So I had a lot of like free time while he was doing his thing, and so I had a good like 4 or 5 hours on Saturday and then a couple hours on Sunday to roam the city and do the things I like to do, such as go to Danbo Ramen, which is my favorite ramen place, and I went on both the days, went twice by myself. On Saturday, I noticed that there was a Canucks game. I think they ended up playing the Leafs or something like that and won that game, as far as I recall. And I know that Northern Lion is a season ticket holder. He's mentioned it plenty of times in his videos.
He also has a Peloton.
He has a Peloton, big Peloton user. And so when I was seeing fans walk the city, I'm like, what if I saw Northern Lion? That would be kind of crazy. Because I watch his videos probably every day. And I was like, what are the odds? It's pretty low. But, I had my eyes peeled just in case. And then right near the end of my excursion on Saturday, I was walking back to where the people were paddling. And there was like a tiny little park. And from like a mile away, I saw a man with his young daughter, I presumed. And he was wearing like a toque, a Canada toque, which I've seen pictures of Northern Lion wearing before. I said, you know what? I think that might be him. And I got a little bit closer, and it definitely was him. And so at that point, I was a little torn because I wanted to go up. I'll tell you, my heart was racing a little because I didn't know what to do. I was like excited to see him, but then at the same time, I'm like, would it be weird if I came up and like said hello? Or just that I was a fan? And I felt as though since he was at a park, like with his daughter, he probably didn't want to be bothered. I'm not sure how often he gets like stopped. So I sort of decided not to. But as I was walking by, like they were like right at the edge of the park. I just like walked like right beside him. He was like 2 feet away. And that was my run-in with Northern Lion.
We got 200 likes.
It sure did, because I went on. It happened, and then I tweeted at him saying that I went by him. He didn't see it, I don't think. But then I was in his Twitch chat. I don't watch him live very often at all. But I figured, I'll go in because I saw him, so he was kind of like on the mind. And I quickly mentioned it like in the chat. And then he saw it, and then I think he realized that I had tweeted at him. And but yeah, in the Twitch chat, I said, "Oh yeah, I saw you. I didn't say hello because he looked busy." And he's like, "Well, hello back." And then he kind of went off on a little bit of a tangent. And then he liked my tweet, and I guess if he likes the tweet, then his followers sometimes can see the tweets that he likes, and I think that drew some attention. And yeah,
Wow.
I got like 200 likes. But it's really good. I've never seen like a famous person in person. It's really weird. Like out in the wild, I guess. Like I went and saw like David Letterman live, and like Bill Murray was a guest, but it wasn't like that was like set up,
Right? Just a random encounter in a park.
That was very weird. Very weird. I really wanted to, like, if he was not busy, I wanted to like take a selfie with him and then just send it to Mackenzie without like giving any sort of warning. And just I wanted to see what her reaction would be, but didn't happen.
That's all right. At least you didn't take like a creepy picture from behind bushes.
Yeah. So anyway, that was my long-winded story of how I met somebody that probably no one listening knows who that is.
Well, you never have stories. That's very exciting.
It's true. That was the most words I think I've ever said on the podcast.
Just end it right now.
Yeah, that was.
We're not even recording right now, so
don't
worry about it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe somebody has a recording we can edit into here. Like maybe someone's phone is on record right now or something.
Well, that's exciting. So you tell me you watch a lot of YouTube, you watch a lot of Twitch. Do you watch a lot of movies?
I don't watch a lot of Twitch. I watch a lot of YouTube for sure. Twitch just every once in a while. Do I watch a lot of movies? Lately, no.
When you're watching a lot of movies, going to the movie theater,
Mm-hmm.
do you like the trailers for the new movies?
Yes.
Well, I have a few movies for you that I'm going to read the description for well, and then you're going to tell me if this is interesting to you and you would want to see this movie in theaters.
Okay. Are these the trailer descriptions of modern movies, or they could be movies from like the past?
These are movies that are yet to come out.
Okay. Hit me with it.
Vermont's #1 public television painter, who was convinced he has it all,
Mm-hmm.
a signature perm, a custom van, and fans hanging on his every stroke, until a younger, better artist steals everything and everyone he loves. This movie is called Paint.
With Owen Wilson?
Yeah, with Owen Wilson. I was going to leave the Owen Wilson part out.
Oh, I already know what you're talking about. I will say that I saw not the trailer, but like a promotional image for this film like 2 days ago or maybe yesterday. And it's like the first time in a while I've been like, I'm going to go see that in theater because I love Owen Wilson. I also like Bob Ross.
So your answer is yes.
100% yes. The
Turtle Brothers, as they work to earn the love of New York City while facing down an army of mutants. That doesn't make any sense. That sentence doesn't work. This is why you gotta. Anyways, the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. You heard about that one?
I have heard about it. I'm not interested.
But they're teenagers.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay, maybe.
Okay. Well, I have one more for you.
Okay, I can hear you typing away.
Nope.
No, that's not the keyboard. Nope.
This one hasn't really been announced at all. It just says plot unknown, 3rd installment of Legally Blonde.
Yes, I'm excited for that. I've yet to see the second one, but I can easily change that.
You haven't seen the second Legally Blonde?
Nope.
What do you think the Rotten Tomatoes score is?
For the second one?
Yeah.
58.
36%.
Oh, that's not great, is it? I will say that's about the percent of the next movie I'm planning on picking for the podcast.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. We still have our movie for episode 50.
Yeah, the 50, and then your 51. I'm just excited for my pick for 52.
Well, my pick for 51 might be the exact same movie that you were thinking about picking for 52.
It is possible. My movie is from the 2000s.
Okay, so to get ahead of ourselves, I haven't picked my movie yet. I have a list of 5 movies.
Okay.
That we're gonna go through, and then we're gonna pick it together.
Okay. Are we gonna do that at the end? I assume.
At the end of the podcast. So stay tuned for that. Since this is a podcast, this isn't just two friends hanging out.
Well, some people like that kind of thing. You know, they feel like they're part of the group. You know, maybe not. I don't know.
No, they do. They do.
Oh, they do.
Part of the
Oh, they
group.
do. Okay, great.
Episode 50, Your Mother Ate My Dog, the podcast, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, 2022 American action comedy film.
Yes.
You hadn't seen it when you picked the movie. I had seen it when you picked the movie. So what did you think of the movie?
I will just preface my general feelings about this film with that I don't. Comedies are a hard sell for me overall, but I figured I might pick this as a bit of a challenge to that preconceived notion I have about the genre, and I will say it was funny. It delivered on the funny. The fact that it was a comedy action film, I think maybe hurt it a little, but I don't know. Maybe I'll wait for your take on that. But overall, it was fun. I don't know. What do you think? It was been a while since you've seen it.
I mean, only a few weeks, but I wouldn't consider this movie a comedy first.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more of like an action film first, obviously with comedic overtones.
Right.
So in that sense,
There was comedic overtones. There were some like pretty funny moments. I mean, they had the two main guys, Pedro Pascal and Nicolas Cage, I think were very good choices for the two main characters in that they can do both of those genres pretty well. And both are, I mean, good actors in their own ways. I think Nicolas Cage was, he was the star. Obviously, it's about him. He plays himself, but I think he was probably the best performance. And it's fun seeing him hit that spectrum of seriousness and weirdness, but also like genuinely pretty funny.
who else is going to play Nick Cage?
Right. You can't have anyone else playing Nick Cage except himself, you know. He even played himself like twice in the movie, kind of.
Yeah. I actually disagree on who the best performance was.
You probably thought it was Pedro Pascal.
I did think it was Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal has no other human being has ascended as fast in my record books of best actors.
Yes, he
than
is.
Pedro Pascal in the past. Like, it hasn't even been that long.
No, it hasn't. I myself have noticed that I like him a lot as just like a person, not just when he's acting. Like he's pretty funny, and if you've ever seen interviews with him or whatever, he's kind of like,
for sure.
Yes, yeah, I like him. But yes, I mean his performance was good too. You're right.
Yeah, no, it's my acting score is probably one of the highest I've given in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because of just like both those two.
Yeah.
Just knocked out of the park.
Definitely.
But I thought Pedro was better. But still, like, Nicolas Cage is one of my favorite actors.
Mm-hmm.
We do share a birthday.
Right, of course.
And he did not disappoint at all. It was fantastic. The younger version of Nicky Cage, or
Mm-hmm.
I guess he went by in the credits it was his real name, like Nicky something Coppola.
Oh, right.
But I didn't like that too much, but everything else was great.
Right. I liked that it was a nice, it's what I wanted after having watched Ghost Rider, and he just wasn't really able to be very Nicolas Cagey. He was obviously very Nicolas Cagey in this movie.
Yeah, well, in the in episode 51, when we do Gone in 60 Seconds, you'll see him even at his best.
Right.
It's even better, that performance. Angelina Jolie, chef's kiss.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so acting was good. Have you seen Paddington 2?
I have not, but I have heard that it is genuinely very good. And Mackenzie and I are intending on watching the two Paddington movies. That'll probably be our next movies we're going to watch.
Interesting. The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which he talks about as his favorite movie, is the movie that's on my list of podcast movies. I was going to do it,
Mhm.
I think, ahead of Rashomon, but I didn't. So
That's a movie I have seen. It's on YouTube, by the way. It's very easy to watch. But
well, I'm sure all the old ones are.
yeah, that is true. But it is genuinely good. I'm not sure if that is actually his favorite movie. I don't see why that would be made up for the movie. It probably is his favorite, but I can see why.
There's been so many Cage movies that was in this movie that I haven't actually seen. I haven't seen Face Off.
No, me neither, unfortunately.
Still haven't seen Raising Arizona.
That's a good one for sure. And that one where he's like a bodyguard. I hadn't even heard of that movie.
Right. It's not The Bodyguard. That's Kevin Costner.
Yes.
Speaking of Kevin Costner, we're getting into Yellowstone. You ever seen Yellowstone?
No.
Cowboys on a ranch.
What do you mean we're getting into Yellowstone?
Well, no, not me and you. The other me, the other we. This is just an aside.
I see. You and your partner.
Yeah, so when Neil Patrick Harris showed up, and he wasn't playing Neil Patrick Harris, I got very confused. I don't know if you felt the same way.
You thought they were all going to be playing themselves?
Well, look, he's playing Nicolas Cage. Neil Patrick Harris is like the first recognizable person we see,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not playing Neil Patrick Harris.
It did. Stop me in my tracks a little bit. I do know what you mean.
What are the rules to this? But
there's not a whole ton of movies. I mean, we've watched one other movie in this for this podcast that shares an aspect of this film, is that one person plays themselves.
Being John Malkovich, one of the best movies of the last year's podcast.
Yeah, Being John Malkovich. And it got me thinking about how many movies there really are where the actors play themselves that I've seen. I know This Is the End. Everyone plays themselves.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Yeah, that's a funny one. That's a comedy that I think is funny. But anyway, it was just a thing I was thinking of.
Okay. Well, did you... Trying to think here. How do you like the story?
The story was not that creative, I guess. Maybe slightly. I don't know. It was like, I feel like a comedy's story is never that like super intriguing. It's just meant to serve like the actors and just let them be funny, I guess. I don't know. It was like a classic like action comedy plot, I suppose.
Yeah, overall, it wasn't that special.
No.
But still had its moments.
Yeah, I will say, like, as a comedy, there was an actor in this movie who I've seen before who I just do not find funny at all.
Ike Barinholtz.
Yeah, exactly.
He was in The Hunt. Another podcast episode.
Oh, you're right. He was. Yeah, I can't say I'm a big fan. Maybe he's been in something that's really funny and I just haven't seen it. But for me, for some reason, he just screams like just unfunny comedies or like low budget comedies. Like, oh, they got him because he was cheap. So maybe that's an unfair to him, but
yeah, that might be an unfair thing.
And I would just say
That's
like
your opinion.
the whole like FBI, CIA agent portion of this movie, I could have done without. It's like I don't know, like are they really adding to the comedy? It's like not really.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
I get that they had to be there, but I just I thought maybe it would have been a bit more successful if they were like very serious. And then you had Pedro Pascal and Nicolas Cage being really not so serious as as like a as the opposite. I thought that might have been more effective, but
That's a great point. That would have been, I think, a better movie.
what do I know?
How many films do you think Nicolas Cage has been in his life?
Do you have the answer in front of you?
I do.
If I were to make a guess, for the through the 90s, he probably was in like, let's say he was in 15 to 20 movies. In the 2000s, he was in quite a bit as well. Maybe another 15, 30, and then maybe add on, I want to say 48.
This one was his 104th film role.
Oh, so I only got about halfway there. That's crazy. That is more than I thought.
In the film, he has a daughter, but he has 2 sons in real life, with a 3rd child on the way.
Third child on the way. How old is this man? He's got to be in his 60s.
He's been married a lot.
59.
Well. Oh. And then the last one is when Nicolas Cage is referred to by his nickname in real life, he spells it N-I-C, Nick Cage. But the film makes it clear that his character's name in this movie is Nick with a K.
Oh.
So, fictional.
Right. Not quite the real life Nick Cage. But
Did you ever watch the movie Adaptation?
No.
It's another Nicolas Cage movie, but he plays twins. Or maybe not twins, but there's 2 of them in the movie.
Uh-huh.
Which is a lot like, I guess, younger Nick Cage and older Nick Cage in this movie.
Right. I don't think I've seen too many. Well, this is our 3rd Nick Cage movie in the podcast, or 4th?
We've seen Con Air, we've seen Ghost Rider, and we've seen this one.
So that's just
has
3.
Has there been a 3rd?
A 4th, you mean?
Oh, our 4th. I mean, we did watch The Wicker Man, which had him in the remake, but
Right. I mean, I haven't seen too many Nicolas Cage movies beyond this, I guess. I've seen the National Treasure movies, and I've seen, what's that movie called? The Weatherman?
oh, The Weatherman, yeah. What about one of the first, maybe even the first Nicolas Cage movie I watched was The Family Man?
Oh.
Yeah, The Family Man.
I think that's what I'm thinking of, maybe.
But he is in a movie called The Weatherman.
Oh.
Or something to do with the weather. Yeah, the weather. Yeah, The Weatherman.
Oh.
So The Family Man was 2000. The Weatherman is 2005.
Oh, that's confusing. I've also seen Raising Arizona, obviously. I haven't seen the one that won him an Oscar. I haven't seen Leaving Las Vegas.
Interesting. In real life, Pedro Pascal is a genuine fan of Nicolas Cage.
That would make sense. That tracks. Yeah, I think Pedro Pascal is. Yeah, he was. I liked how silly his character was. I think he does that. It was like it was a good contrast because I'm watching The Last of Us right now, where it's obvious he's obviously very serious. In this, it was like it was nice seeing him be able to obviously do both really well.
Yes, I think in his movie roles he seems to play more like silly characters versus TV roles like Game of Thrones and Last of Us, where he He is more serious. Did you see anything from when he hosted Saturday Night Live?
No.
They did like The Last of Us, they did a trailer for like a gritty HBO Mario Kart series,
Oh, yeah.
which is pretty good.
That does sound like that would be funny.
Yeah, the last episode, episode 8 of Last of Us, just unreal.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie, great TV show.
It is very good.
Speaking of great shows, is there anything else you can think of to talk about for The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, starring Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal, and a Irish woman?
And an Irish woman. I do know that Pedro Pascal is going to be on Hot Ones. I think that's the next episode. So
They
that's something.
still make Hot Ones?
Yeah.
Wow.
They just did one with the girl from Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday Addams.
Yeah, I forget her name. But it popped off. It got like 10 million views or something. Jenna Ortega. Is that her name?
Yes.
Yeah. But I'm looking for, I don't watch them all. If there's someone I like on it, I'll watch. So I haven't watched one in a while, but I'll definitely watch the Pedro Pascal one. But no, there's nothing else to talk about. I haven't, we halted at episode 7 of House of the Dragon. We have 3 more of those we need to get through. We're watching The Mandalorian right now, also Pedro Pascal. So far this season has been fairly lackluster, but who knows?
There have been like 2 episodes?
There's been 2 episodes. Both have been kind of meh, in my opinion. Yeah, that's about all that's going on that I can currently think of. Yeah.
Well, then let's get into scores. I can already guess I'm going to have a higher score than you.
Okay.
Just because you were like, well, comedies.
Yeah.
Okay, well then, do you want to start us on acting? What did you give this movie for acting?
For acting, well, obviously I like Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal, as we've already mentioned. I think there was a lot of issues with the secondary characters. Pedro Pascal's, I don't know, was that his cousin?
His cousin, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like him. And I really didn't like the CIA agents. I think mainly I just had a problem with him just not being funny. And I think that's just like it's one of the things in movies as it pertains to acting that I just notice the most is when it comes to like a comedy and a moment's supposed to be funny and it's not. I'm just like, wow, that just did not work. And it just really draws my attention to it. And so that's why I really had a problem with the CIA agents, because I just did not find them funny at all. I also thought that Nicolas Cage's daughter, she wasn't very, very good, in my opinion. I don't know, just kind of like flat. And I don't know, not believable, I guess. I don't know. I can't really pinpoint it other than it just kind of felt sort of flat. But it's a good thing that Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal have most of the screen time yeah. So, and it helps the score a lot. So for acting, I gave it a 7.5.
Wow. Okay, well, I didn't hate the acting as much as you did, clearly.
I didn't hate. I really liked 2 performances, and the other ones I didn't like.
Tiffany Haddish and Ike Barinholtz as the CIA agents, they weren't as bad to me as they were to you. I do like your idea of going on a more serious route, but they did not. The Irish lady, Sharon Horgan, as Nick Cage's ex-wife, she was good. I didn't pay too much attention to the daughter because she didn't have that big of a role, I think.
That's true.
Pedro Pascal steals the show because you think maybe he's bad at the beginning because they're telling you he's bad, but then he's not bad. Great actor, Nicolas Cage, wonderful, top of his game. I give it a 9 out of 10.
Oh, very nice. Before we get into any more scores, quickly, have you seen Pig yet?
Yeah, I saw Pig. Probably it was on my 2022 list of movies.
Okay.
So
I liked his
I'll tell you what I gave that.
Yeah, please do. I liked his performance in that movie. That was good. Although that was like almost a completely serious role.
I gave Pig 7.4 out of 10.
Okay.
It wasn't as good as How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Right. Right. Pretty different movies. Hard to compare.
Yeah, I mean that movie was great. It very original movie.
Yeah.
Anyways, ending. I'll start on ending.
Okay.
I thought it wasn't all that great. Wasn't very special, very predictable. I liked the switch to the movie version.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of brought stuff around. Demi Moore as the wife. Okay. Nick got to see Paddington 2 for the second time in the movie, so that was nice for him.
Mm-hmm.
But like it was obviously heading in that direction. It was always going to end that way.
Right.
So I give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay. That's fair. I would say like the ending reminded me of, I forget which Austin Powers movie does it, but like it starts off and like Tom Cruise is Austin Powers and Danny DeVito is Mini Me. I can't remember which one it is, but it reminded me of that. Anyway, I did like that jump into that. That was kind of neat. But you're right. I think maybe the action sequence, which I'm including as the ending part of the ending, it was just kind of like a little lackluster. Perhaps a little predictable as well. And yeah, mostly forgettable beyond those 2 points. So yeah, I think for ending, I'm at a. I have here a 6 for ending.
Wow. Okay. You give me your score out of 10, and then we'll finish on a high note. Episode 50 of
Okay.
Your Mother Made Not the Podcast.
Okay. I think if I were to focus just on Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal, this would be a higher score movie for me, for sure. It did have a lot of problems with the surrounding characters, and I mean they did take up a ton of screen time, but a good amount of it was detracted from the film overall. But it was, like I said, fun seeing Pedro Pascal, a bit of his silly comedic side, which he does very well, and Nicolas Cage also was allowed to be himself, and that always works for me. And so yeah, again, a comedy is a bit of a hard sell for me, but I mean overall it was definitely enjoyable. So I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yep, enjoyable. I gave you the score last episode, and I haven't changed it. Very fun, mostly unpredictable film. At least at the beginning, didn't know exactly what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
It did a lot of things I liked, except for Nikki, his younger self. But I did like when they showed us the old films, when Pedro Pascal's character had the museum dedicated to him.
Yeah.
And then we saw the old films. I love the celebration of Nicolas Cage as a whole. 8.2 out of 10.
8.2. Not 8.25? You're going to change our whole scoring rubric? They've always been by 0.25s?
Yeah, we're going 8.2 because that's what I said earlier.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
I'll allow it. Just this once, though.
Okay, so that was The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, starring Nicolas Cage as Nick Cage. That was kind of an interesting Jesse pick.
I thought so.
A little out of the blue.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now we go to episode 51, which is a Josh pick. And I do need some help with this one. So we are going. So I picked a movie from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. So this coming up episode is going to be from the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a lot, obviously, a lot of movies that came out in the 2000s that are good, a lot of movies that came out in the 2000s that are bad. But I think I've picked a list of 5 movies that will be interesting.
Okay.
And hopefully that, I'd be surprised if you've seen any of these movies. But I'm going to read, much like earlier in the episode, read the description, and you tell me if it sounds interesting. Or maybe I'll just like give you bits and pieces to see if you've seen it or you haven't seen it.
Okay.
If it's interesting, it's not interesting. So the first one, it's a 2003 movie called Big Fish. It's a Tim Burton directed American fantasy comedy drama film. Stars Ewan McGregor,
Mm-hmm.
Steve Buscemi, and Danny DeVito are also in it. Does that sound familiar?
It sounds familiar. I've definitely seen the poster for it. I think it's like of trees. It's like the name of it. It's like written in trees or something.
Yep, exactly.
Yep. That interests me. Mm-hmm.
But so you haven't seen the movie?
Haven't seen it.
It sounds familiar. Okay.
Yeah, I know
Big
it.
Fish, interesting. So this was not on purpose, but my second movie is a movie that stars Ewan McGregor and has Steve Buscemi in it. It's called The Island. It's a dystopian science fiction action thriller film
Okay.
directed by Michael Bay.
I have never heard of that.
Scarlett Johansson is also in it.
Weird. No, haven't heard of it. I would say I'm mildly interested.
Okay, that's good. The third movie is a 2001 movie, surrealist neo-noir mystery film. It's a David Lynch film starring Naomi Watts called Mulholland Drive.
Okay. Yep. I know it very well. I have not seen it, and I always meant to.
Okay.
That's supposed to
Great.
be a bit of a brain scratcher, a head scratcher, brain messer upper.
Yeah. I haven't looked at any of the Rotten Tomato scores. I'm not letting that cloud my judgment.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You brought up Bill Murray earlier. The fourth movie is called Get Low. It's a 2009 film. It's a drama starring Bill Murray, Robert Duvall, Sissy Spacek, who you may know from Rosemary's Baby.
Right.
Robert Duvall was awarded the Hollywood Film Festival Award for Best Actor for this performance.
Okay.
The poster, I don't know what it's about, but the poster is Bill Murray and Robert Duvall in a field.
Okay. I would say I'm mildly interested.
Okay, you're not really being helpful, but I don't know what I was expecting out of this.
You told me to tell you how interested I am on each one of these.
Okay, so the fifth and final one that I have picked, Jamie Lee Curtis is in it. Brendan Gleeson is in it. Daniel Radcliffe makes his film debut. It's a 2001 spy thriller film starring Pierce Brosnan and Jeffrey Rush called The Tailor of Panama.
Okay.
It does have good reviews.
Tailor of Panama. What the fuck? I ain't heard of this.
Daniel Radcliffe in his film debut. An MI6 spy reassigned to Panama after having an affair in Madrid.
Okay, I'm mediumly interested. I will say that you want me to give you the two that I'm most interested in?
Can I guess?
Yes.
You're most interested in Mulholland Drive
Uh-huh.
and Big Fish.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay. Great. That helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor Panama. So not to sound like a bragger or somebody who's better than you, but I do have a subscription to the New Yorker. So I read the
Oh.
New Yorker often, and they have um, a film buff. His name is Richard Brody.
Mm-hmm.
There's another guy too, but he's the main one. And so they just like pick like old reviews that they've done, mixed in with like new movie reviews. And so Taylor Panama was in there, and I think Get Low was also in there. 2 movies you did not pick. So I think,
I mean, ultimately, it's your decision.
yes, it is. But I think we're gonna go with Mulholland Drive for the movie of next week. It just sounds like it's another one with lots to talk about.
It should be. It's Primer-esque, I've heard.
Big Fish, it seems like it's going to be a slower
Right.
movie. But the fact that it's fantasy, I don't know. But maybe one for the future. So episode 51 will be Mulholland Drive starring Naomi Watts. Mark Pellegrino is in it.
Ooh, delicious. I like the orange flavored.
Oh, never mind. He's in Lost.
Oh. The one where there's the bunker with the bald guy.
You haven't seen Lost?
Yeah, there's a bunker with a bald guy. I've seen Lost. There's like a timer. What's the timer for? Were they dreaming the whole time?
It's a great show. Okay, Mulholland Drive confirmed.
Okay, great. Sounds fun.
Let's see if I guess you're definitely gonna be able to rent it. But it sounds like it's on Crave. But it says watch now with a premium subscription, so it makes me think it's. Oh, I just look it up now. It's on Stars. So.
Oh yeah, one of those start your Stars subscription. It's like, please.
Yeah. You'd think it'd be a pick a flick.
It's got to be.
I'll just look it up now. Keyword
It is.
Mulholland. No, I'll look it up.
Okay, you go ahead.
Ooh, 3 different versions. A 1996 version starring Nick Nolte. That seems like a different movie. Oh, Mulholland Falls. All right. Ooh, didn't see that it's 2 hours and 27 minutes.
It's a longie.
Buckle up.
Yep. That's okay. I've seen the Lord of the Rings extended editions. I can do anything.
Okay, well, that's good.
Perfect. I'm excited.
Yeah, and then you've already picked your movie for 52,
I sure have.
which will remain a secret until next episode, I guess.
My guess is, if I were to guess, I'm not going to give too much away because I feel tempted to, but I'm not going to. My guess is this is a movie you might have seen in theaters when it came out, and definitely have not revisited since then.
Man with the Iron Fist.
Not Man of the Iron Fist. We saw that together.
That's why I said it.
Oh.
I haven't seen too many movies in theaters. Is it so? It's a fairly newish movie, is what you're saying, or like within the last 15 years?
Not even. It's from 2004.
So you think as a 13-year-old boy, I was just watching movies in the theater?
I feel like this is a movie you would watch if you were 13 years old.
Any of the Harry Potters?
No, I'm not picking any of the Harry Potter movies.
I think it's pretty safe to say that I did not see it in theaters
Okay.
in 2004. In 2004 I lived in Duncan,
Mm-hmm. Right.
which
They don't
had
have
one
movies
movie.
there.
They did have a movie theater, but it was a pain to get to. It wasn't very good. All right, 2004 movies. Actually, if it's okay, so I googled 2004 movies, and a list of 8 movies came up.
Okay.
One of those movies I have seen in theaters.
Okay.
And I've also watched it recently. But is it an M. Night Shyamalan movie?
It is not an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Okay.
As far
Then I
as I
think we're
know, this would be a
I think we're
weird,
safe.
weird direction to go. No, it is not.
Okay. Well, I was talking about The Village.
Okay. No, it's
Great
not that.
movie.
It's not that.
Mean Girls also came out in 2004. I have not seen that one.
Really? That's a good one.
And another movie that came out in 2004 is Blade Trinity, the third Blade movie,
I did not pick that either.
as well as Catwoman with Halle Berry.
It's not that, although that has crossed my mind more than once. No, this is a movie that I don't think would show up if you just like probably wouldn't even be in the top 100 of movies that would just show up if you just search 2004 movies.
What kind of movie is it?
It's an action. Well, it's like it's a sci-fi action movie.
Okay.
I don't think you're gonna guess it. I will tell you when the episode's over, though.
I'm not going to guess, and I'm just going to say that a series of unfortunate events came out in 2004 starring Jim Carrey.
It's not that.
Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban came out in 2004. So did Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and The Notebook.
Mm-hmm.
2004 was a great year for movies.
Right. This would probably not be in that consideration.
Howl's Moving Castle, Primer, and The Butterfly Effect are the 3 movies we've seen in the year 2004.
It's quite the span of genres there.
Primer being the first movie we watched.
What better way to bring it all around than on episode 51?
Okay, well, speaking of bringing it around, we've gone past our quota of 50 to 52 minutes.
We sure have.
It's a long one today.
Yeah, I hope you set aside a large chunk of time to listen to the whole thing.
Or do what I do and listen to podcasts in chunks when I'm walking around delivering my mail.
Yeah, all the famous
Also, don't tell anybody I do that.
Okay, I won't tell anybody. It's a good thing no one listens to this.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else you want to say before we retire episode 50?
I don't think so.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for listening, audience. Hopefully, we come back with another 50. Then we'll be at episode 100. And I'm just going to guess that our 100th episode is going to be just like a random movie. It's not going to be like a special thing.
Yeah. I don't know what we could pick that would be a special movie exactly.
The Man with the Iron Fists.
Yeah, we could revisit that. I could tell you exactly 0 things about that movie.
A Man had iron fists.
Yeah, well, yes, that is true.
I think for episode 100, I think we should pick the very first movie to ever come out.
The first movie to ever come out.
Yeah, we have to find the very first movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just a horse galloping.
Yeah, we'll watch that. It's a good idea.
Yeah. So look forward to that. It'll be in about a year and a half.
Yeah.
All right. Well, farewell.
Farewell and good night and good luck.